going to pay my rent in a couple weeks, and that's terrifying, but I'm trying not to be too overwhelmed about it because all I've known for the last year is stress. Employed people don't seem to understand that nowadays you have to know somebody to find a job. And since I was laid off after I moved halfway across the country to a city where I don't know anyone, it's almost impossible to even find a serving job. And if I'm evicted, I can't just go move in with a friend because they're all over 17 hours away. I have a car camping set up, so in theory I could stay in my car, but I recently found out that my 3-year-old car is no longer waterproof. I've applied to well over 100 jobs, and the only thing I get besides rejections are more spam calls, texts, and emails. I paid to be licensed as a substitute teacher, and out of the 12 schools I applied to, I only heard back from one, and it was a rejection. Instacart is full. TaskRabbit is full. Amazon Flex is full. I tried doing Uber Eats, but the only orders I would get would be to drive 45 minutes for $3. And then I still have to drive 45 minutes back, and then it's not even worth all of the gas that you just used.
What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be checking out some videos of people talking about how difficult it is to get a job in 2025. Coming from somebody who is currently dealing with the job market and how crazy the job market is to find a job these days, I can definitely understand where a lot of these people are coming from. How 5-10 years ago, people didn't really have to worry too much about job security, but today AI are starting to take the jobs of regular working people, has really gotten in the way of a lot of people finding work. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
I posted a video saying I don't know if I'm ever going to find a job again because I had been looking for so long and no one had given me anything. This is what has happened since I posted that video. 2 months after I posted that video, I got a job offer. 20 hours a week, $16 an hour. 5 months after I started that job, the entire company shut down. 2 months after that company shuts down, I get another job. I'm a dog walker. The most they can give me is about $300 of work per week. So I get another job. I am a petition circulator. I work 40 hours a week, $19 an hour. I'm great at it. This is amazing. I'm finally making a decent amount of money, and the Florida government passes a law that all but bans petition circulating. So now I am back to dog walking, which again pays about $300 a week. I have a bachelor's degree. I have 4 years of experience in mental health, 10 years of experience in childcare. I have experience in higher education, aquatics, food service. When I was in high school, I tutored refugees in English, and I speak French. And I do not believe that there is any job that I am above. I'm telling you, I got rejected by Taco Bell and Sam's Club. Where are my bootstraps? Because I would love to pull myself up by them.
Just from hearing for this person, they seem like a very qualified candidate for a job that they're trying to go after. And the fact that they're getting rejected by that many people is honestly crazy. And it's really a story that I hear from a lot of other people that are dealing with the same type of thing.
Void rant of the day is about recruiters. I'm talking external recruiters, so not people that actually work for the brands. I have never come across flakier people in my life, and that's coming from a girl who's been on LA Hinge for years. A recruiter will literally be up my ass being like, you're so perfect for this role. You're their favorite we've submitted. And then you do an interview and they literally fall off the face of the planet and will not respond to you. Or they submit you for a role that you're excited about and you hear nothing, so you ask for feedback. Crickets. And this might be so petty of me, but if someone is going to be making commission based off of placing me in a role, I would want them to do a good job and be responsive. I understand they're probably so busy and have so many candidates on their plates, but if it's someone that you're going to go back to and try to place in the future, at least send an update. I do want to give credit where credit's due. The one recruiting firm I've worked with that I really like is the Workshop LA. They have placed me in a role and they are always really responsive and supportive, which is great. All I'm saying is if I had $1 for every recruiter who has ghosted me, I would not need to be looking for a job.
As you can see from this, like the recruiters and everything just trying to play on their candidates is honestly insane. And you see this a lot with a lot of people that are dealing with this sort of thing.
I've been unemployed for the better part of 8 weeks, and I have been actively searching this entire time. It has been an incredibly frustrating experience. Now, granted, I have been looking for a lot less time and my circumstances are a lot less dire than many other people, but it is still so frustrating to continually put your time and effort into convincing companies that you have the skills, the experience, the wherewithal, the team playerness, the attitude to do a good job, and them to still pass on you because your experience does not align 100% with what they want you to do. As someone who has always worked and who has always been a high performer, I have found it profoundly profoundly destabilizing to be in this position. It's starting to make me question whether I can perform at a job, which is absurd because I know I always have, but it's just been profoundly weird to navigate. And all this is to say that if you are looking for a job, it's not you, it's them.
Yeah, her with a message, it's them, not you. Like, a lot of these jobs, they be requiring 5-6 years of experience, and some of these are for entry-level roles, and it's honestly crazy. Like, how could somebody have 5 to 6 years of experience in a role that they are entry-level going into, or just a beginner level stage? It's honestly insane what some of these jobs kind of put on their requirements.
If anyone saw my TikToks about me looking for work here in Austin and like having a hard time being unemployed for 15 months, I got a job. I started today. I've not been posting because I've just been enjoying not having to look for work anymore. 15 months, 9 of that probably looking for work. Off and on doing a lot of other things. Interviews galore. Stay hopeful. I got a great job so far. My manager's awesome. I'm super excited. I did not wear this to work today. I just got off and I'm gonna go hang out with my friends now, but stay hopeful.
Shout out to this guy, man. He was able to find a job and able to secure something after 15 months, but it really do be like that. There's some people that are not able to secure something within a year.
If you are job searching, I would highly recommend expanding beyond LinkedIn for your job search. First reason is I'm noticing that LinkedIn is not doing a good job showing local mid-sized job opportunities. The competition for remote is so fierce. Those jobs have hundreds, if not seemingly thousands of applicants within like seconds of being posting. And so job opportunities that are hybrid, and I've even noticed that some say a certain locale, but say remote or hybrid optional. I noticed that mid-sized companies that weren't big corporate companies were not being shown in searches or being shown really deep in the search window. And secondly, I don't know if there's like a heavy algorithm that they apply to your profile. I was trying to help an overwhelmed parent friend with their job search and their job search strategy, and I had put in a specific location, these specific things, and they were not honoring those searches. It was for showing me my profile. And one of the things that I think might be an issue is if you've been searching in a specific niche and you realize you can expand your niche, if that algorithm that's attached to your profile is not going to budge, you're not going to see certain jobs. And going back to the regional, I noticed that, okay, maybe those companies near me weren't hiring for the jobs that I was searching for. And some of these jobs were generic enough, like project manager, program manager. I got a list of like companies within a driving distance and put them into LinkedIn specifically. I had to go to each company profile and then search each company profile manually. And lo and behold, there were project and program management jobs that were a fairly decent fit. So I don't know what's going on with LinkedIn, but if you're not having luck, try other platforms. I haven't really used Indeed, but try Indeed. Built-in, I think those are more tech-y jobs, regional jobs. So I will look at Built-in LA, builtin.com, and go to companies' websites. Like, compile your own lists and go directly to their websites, because I don't know, it's wild navigating as this job search in this era is like worse than 2008.
Yeah, as you heard, man, really going to the actual website of some of these companies, or even trying other websites besides LinkedIn, might give you a higher chance of finding something. Because me personally, just from my experience of using LinkedIn, I see that there's already like hundreds of applicants as soon as a job is posted, and it's almost like the job was posted maybe 15 minutes ago, but It's just very recently these applicants like apply to them really quick, but if you actually go to the actual company's website, it can really be a very beneficial option to choose.
Lying if you want to keep your job. Lie about the type of day you're having, saying you're having a great day. Lie about liking your coworkers. Lie about loving hanging out with people. Lie about what's going to happen in the future, and lie about like how much work you're going to get done and what you're going to produce. That was my mistake, is not lying. It's how I got fired. Literally, I was like, okay, you know what? They say it pays to tell the truth. No, it pays to tell a lie. My job was highly based on, okay, what are you going to do next year? Because I was in account management / sales. And things with account management is you can only do as much as your accounts have the ability to handle. If they don't have projects coming up, you can't force them to spend millions of dollars. You can't force them to create new inventions. But it does not matter to upper management. So when I told upper management, hey, their business will be up about 5-10% next year based off everything that the market's saying. I did all this research, but they only make a new machine every 7 to 12 years. I can't force them to use new parts. Everything from now for the next 5 to 10 years is going to be in research and development. So yes, their number will go up, but I cannot make the amount of parts we sell to them or components we sell to them go up because it's only going to be on small one-offs. 6 weeks later, I got called in and they said, we are terminating your employment.
I wouldn't suggest this personally, lying and everything, because of course lying is probably bad, but in today's markets you almost got to sometimes. Although it's good to be truthful, at the end of the day you're really selling yourself to say like I'm a good candidate for these type of reasons.
Recently, but LinkedIn is a fucking mess. It's like a sea of bad news. Every other post is, I regret to inform you that I've been impacted by the layoffs at such and such company. It's going to be harder to even get a job because now I got to compete against everybody and their mama who has worked at any tech company ever. And I'm fresh out of school. I feel like more and more people are feeling bamboozled by the American dream. And that is not a good place for our country to be. One of you guys commented that they think that organized crime is going to be on the rise, but on a whole new level because it's all these tech bros that are getting laid off. And I laughed really hard, but also it's so true. It's so plausible. You're going to have all these pissed off smart people who can't get a job. Man, calling in smoke.
Just all the emotions you go through. It's probably been like the hardest time of my entire life. I'm Amanda. Used to work in tech until I got laid off in December 2022. So going on 2.5 years without having a full-time job, which sounds crazy to say out loud. I work 5 different part-time jobs, or like essentially I have 5 different streams of income right now. And I'm transitioning, going back to grad school. I'm going to be majoring in accounting. It's been a long progress. I'm feeling probably the most confident I have over the past couple years in this job search. I'm actually really excited to go back to school. Finally feel like I'm like moving in the right direction. I'm weirdly the person who loves doing their own taxes. And then I just started doing a lot of more research on accounting. I actually know a lot of people that work in accounting today, and I started chatting with them about their careers. I just was like, I think this is it. Like, this makes like a lot of sense for me. I feel very confident that this is like a good route and a good investment in myself. In my mind, I was like, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, that's really good for her that she's continuing to do that. That would end up leading to a greater path. Shout out to her, man.
I am truly shocked just how brainwashed the corporate America has a lot of us. And I'm not saying that to offend the regular folks. I'm saying that as I was unemployed recently, just a couple months ago. I've been employed for the last 3 months, but prior to that I was unemployed for 3 months. I got laid off from my previous company. And what's so interesting to me, I spent like every week applying to at least 30 to 40 jobs weekly for those 3 months I was unemployed. Every single day I applied to jobs like it was a full-time job. Every hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Every hour, every single hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Now, mind you, I am employed. It's none of the jobs I applied for. I was recruited. But what's so interesting to me is the entire time I was waking up every single morning and applying for jobs while I'm sitting out eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee, is that I felt guilty the entire time. I just like, I'm flabbergasted at the reality of that. I saw somebody on TikTok talking about it earlier, that there's a profound sense of shame as well as guilt, but specifically the guilt of feeling like you did something wrong, right? You are looking for jobs, and the only time you feel like not guilty is on the weekend. You're not employed the entire time, but the only time you feel non-guilt is because it's the weekend and everybody's off on the weekend, so you don't feel bad for not having a job. But it's like crazy to me because simultaneously we also have the conversation going on right now that nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work, yet we're feeling guilty that we don't have a job. That's nonsensical to me. Because first of all, most people want to work. Companies don't want to hire, and they also don't want to pay. But even for the companies that don't want to pay, people are still applying for those jobs. Myself, I was applying for jobs that were completely out of my pay range that I'm used to. But I was just looking for a job. I don't care. I've always worked from home. I've worked from home since 2018, but I was applying for jobs in office. It didn't matter. I was applying for jobs in my field that I know I have extensive history in working. Like every single bulletin point I was meeting, or at least majority of it I was meeting. And still I was having issues. And what's cracking me up again is that there's this notion that nobody wants to work. They're lazy. They don't want to put in effort. And yet companies are consistently not hiring, but they have these jobs up. And that was the thing. Even now I go back and look at some of those jobs I applied for. They're still there. They're still there. It wasn't even like the positions got filled. And I'm still getting rejected to jobs I applied for 6 months ago. Because mind you, I've been employed for the last 90 days, for the last 3 months. And I was applying for those jobs since September, October. They're still there. And I met majority, if not all, the requirements. And this is not to toot my own horn. This is to prove a point. I had 4 different resumes just to switch it around and do different things. I had 2 created by AI and 2 I did myself. And I still did not get any of those jobs. I didn't have anybody reach out to me. I got a job via recruiter. But it was crazy how many job sites I went on, how many times a day I was actively looking for a job and was not able to find one. And yet I'm constantly hearing nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work hard. Americans don't want to work. And yet I'm seeing constantly on TikTok people getting on here saying I've been unemployed for 8 months. I've been unemployed for 6 months. People are taking barista jobs and waitressing jobs. And that's not to say those jobs are demeaning. And a lot of times those jobs pay more than corporate jobs. But the point is that people are applying for whatever is available, and they're still being told they're not trying. They're still being told they're not working hard. And that's why I have a lot of room and a lot of grace, not only for myself, but for other people. Because I'm like, babes, we're all going through the trenches right now, and we're all making an effort, and we're being hardcore gaslit by the people around us while they're simultaneously taking away aid that would help us while they're not hiring us and not paying us. I am flabbergasted at how well they were able to sufficiently brainwash us, especially millennials, and how sucky it is going to be for Gen Z because they're looking for jobs out of college. And we're looking for jobs during this time, and none of us are finding jobs, even though the jobs are listed and we're applying. And we have 4 resumes and 5 resumes and all this expert advice and all this career advice and career shift. I don't care how much you shift your career. That's why everybody's trying to be a influencer, and I don't blame them. No matter how annoying it is to hear people talk about content creation, which it is becoming very annoying on this app, and no matter how much annoying it is to see people become influencers, what are they supposed to do to keep their lights on? Yes, unfortunately, they're going to have to sell on TikTok shop. Of course, they're going to be a pain in your ass because corporations are a pain in everybody else's ass who are qualified to work and are unable to. And then for the people who make buku bucks, make a lot of money, of course they're going to keep doing this because the corporate job has been so uncertain that running your own business seems more sensible now. Not even if you don't want to do it, because I know entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but what is one to do when you're qualified for jobs and they're either not paying you or simply not hiring?
Yeah, man, she said a lot here, and I can only just agree with the way things are. Having to apply to multiple jobs a day almost feels like a full-time job. Not even working, but just trying to find that work so that they can have something to get paid from. And it's honestly insane that we have to go down these measures. Coming from somebody who's actively dealing with this right now, you know, applying to jobs and everything, I can really understand the grind and how to find a job to like be able to pay for some of the things that I want, you know, for like living and everything, and just how many companies I have to apply for just to even hear a response. And you know, you see those people that end up turning into things like content creation and other revenues that may end up leading to generating funds, because that's just how honestly insane this job market is.
Yes, in case you need a reminder of how the job market is these days, this is the first time since I was 18 years old I have been without a job. Keep in mind, I'm 29. And the reason for that is because I moved states and couldn't take my last job with me.
I've applied to hundreds of jobs since I learned I was going to be moving, and I've been getting interviews, but no one has bitten so far. And this week and next week, I have had officially 7 interviews scheduled. I had one a few days ago that they said I did really well. They were looking for personality rather than experience, and then I still got denied the next day, even though they said they liked my personality. I had another one about 30 minutes ago that honestly I think went really well. They basically confirmed I'm going to make it to the next round. We'll see what happens there. I have 2 more interviews scheduled for today, and then I have 3 next week, 2 of them being on the same day, again. Ah! I just need someone to hire me. I'm going stir crazy. I'd love to be doing anything at this point. And this job market is a nightmare.
Shout out to her. Hopefully she's able to get down with like her interviews and actually able to secure something. Just from her, it just seems like she's been going through the interview process for quite a while. You know, it's really real, you know, how people have so many interviews just to secure just something. Sometimes it's just almost like, I don't care what job it is. It's just, I just want something, you know, just to have, or just to have some type of way to make some money. And it's really gotten down to that point, and it's kind of honestly sad how things have really steeped down, but it's really realistic in how things are really starting to turn out. Yeah, man, that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all let me know what y'all think about some of these. Are y'all going through the same thing? If so, then please let me know down in the comment section. It's been your boy Isaacsocold, and yeah, man, until next time, I'll see y'all next video. Peace.